What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name is Matt, and today we're going to do a graphic novel review of Something is Killing the Children, Volume 1. And before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind, like, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff, comment down below. Have you read this series? What do you think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Anyway, let's get straight into it. This is a Boom Studios comic book by James Tynion IV, who writes Batman for DC now. And also, if you saw my review yesterday, he's got a new book called Nice House on the Lake. And so I did that review yesterday. So check that one out. I just was getting into his stuff because everybody says he's such a good writer. So I figured I'd check this out too. Because this is a book everybody's been talking about. Obviously, the title of it's very like ominous, like something is killing the children. It's got a Stranger Things vibe to it a little bit. And this is one of those books that, like, if you can find number one at a low price, get it because they're really popular. So, the price is shooting up. I just read this first trade to see what it was all about. So let me tell you a little bit about it. First off, you got a kid named James. He's having slumber party with his friends, and he dares them to go outside in this ravine, and then we find out that all of his friends got murdered. So we're just trying to figure out who's killing these kids. While his trauma's going on with all that stuff, someone new comes to town. Her name's Erica Slaughter. We don't know anything about her really. She's some kind of agent. She's got like a cell phone that she's in contact with some other agency that tells her where to go. So James is from the town Archer Peak, and while Erica is finishing up another mission, she gets called and it says, go to Archer's Peak. There's something killing children there. So whoever she works for, we don't quite get that in this book, but it's some kind of like government agency that's keeping track of all these monster killings. So she comes to Archer's Peak. People are very suspicious of her because in the time in between her getting that message and coming to Archer's Peak, lots of kids have been dying and going missing. And people are all suspicious in town. Like, who is this girl? She looks kind of freaky. She's got like kind of dark circles around her eyes all the time. She comes to town kind of ready for war. She's got like machetes and knives and shit. Not that she's wearing that stuff, but it's like in her bags and whatnot. So if she got pulled over by the cops, they'd be like, "What the fuck is all this?" She ends up kind of teaming up with James to figure out what is killing all these kids, try to find its home, its nest, and all that stuff. A lot of the tension in this book is caught up in not just like the monster killing kids and stuff, but it's all about the townspeople and their suspicions. You got a bully named Dan, or he's not even a bully, just a kid named Dan in high school that starts bullying James because Dan's sister has gone missing in this time between when Erica got there. And he's like, "You fucking killed her, didn't you?" Because he's just like, "Well, who else could have killed these kids? It's got to be this little, this kid lured his friends out to the ravine and did something, figured out how to murder them or whatever." It is very obviously not him to the reader, but we find out by like issue 2, we actually get to see the monster and everything. And these monsters, at least the one in this book, is like Stranger's Thing spider. Basically, it's got like spider legs, spider body kind of, but it comes up kind of like a centaur torso, and then it's got like this head with a bunch of red eyes in it, and big teeth and everything. And it's pretty formidable. It's definitely a scary monster. We find out that adults can't see it, so even if it walks by them, they're like, "Hey, there's someone out there," but like and to us on the page, we see it right next to the dad, but it doesn't do anything to him. We don't really find out why it's after kids. I guess it's because they can see it and it senses their fear. But yeah, Erica is there tracking down this thing, trying to find out where it's hiding. Like, obviously it's somewhere, and she kind of has to do like the whole detective thing where, oh, let me see where all the killings were, and then, hey, are there any like missing kids that like we didn't think about possibly are involved in this kind of thing, because we're not tying these together. Obviously, people or adults aren't thinking that these kids that got killed at the slumber party are from the same other missing child event. So she's putting all that together and kind of like triangulating where this monster lives, kind of thing. And in the meantime, Dan is building up and building up. I thought Dan's character was a lot like a Stephen King character or something, like in It. You have like the bully in the background. He's festering and getting more and more angry to the point where he, even though you haven't seen him, when we cut back to him, he's all crazy and he, attacks and stuff, and he gets into worse and worse situations, kind of thing. And Dan has that kind of role in this, where when you first see him, he's just kind of like, you killed my sister, or you took my sister, didn't you? You know where she is. Then that kind of festers in his head to where he actually thinks it's real. He's believing it, and then towards the end of the book, you get to see that play out when they actually go finally find the monster and confront it. So this book is a really quick read. The art's really good. I should say the art is by Werther Deladera, which I'd never seen before, but the art's solid. Also, there's a lot of suspense. There's a lot of I want to see what's going to happen next. Each issue kind of ends on a cliffhanger. It's got a good pacing and everything. I really enjoyed this quick read. The first volume is only 5 issues. I guess originally it was supposed to be a mini series, but it did so well they just continued it. So I'm not going to spoil the ending for this, but it is definitely one to check out. I'm going to give this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. It was a quick read, and that's what you want. You want entertainment. This is an entertaining book. It's just a fun, solid read, especially if you like horror or things like that, suspense and monster stuff. I would definitely recommend this to someone, especially if you don't read comics or whatever. Like, this is a good, hey, if you like kind of horror stuff or like Stranger Things, you could definitely recommend this to someone who doesn't read comics. What did you think of this book? Did you guys like it? Once again, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, all that stuff, comment down below. And I guess that wraps it up. We'll see you on the next one.